Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Mr. Boniface. Today I want us to learn about structured programming language using the C programming language. Now, in C programming language today, I want us to cover on control structures, whereby we say these control structures are used to alter the flow of the execution of the program. So this one is executed depending on the control structures that you choose. We have several control structures, which today we will cover 3 of them. One being the sequence structure, that is straight line path. 2 being the selection stroke decision structure. 1 or many branches. And 3, we are using loop, repetition, iteration structure, that is repetition of a set of activities. Now let us check on sequence structure, a straight line path. Those statements are executed in sequence, that is order of their appearance, starting from the top to bottom. For example, write a C program to calculate area of a circle. When you are writing a program, there are 3 things that you should put in mind. That is, 1, the variables that you need in your programming or in your program, the constants, which is the values that don't change during program execution, input, or you input your data to the program, and how you will also output, or the data should be output when the program is executed. So for example, I've done a program here using the Falcon compiler, whereby I have created my program here, and we know very well that when you are using C programming language to do a program, there are syntax that you should follow. One being, you should have first the preprocessor statement, which is #include standard input output dot header. You must begin with that. Then here I have done also declared my constant, which is pi. We know that pi doesn't change during the program execution. I've used #define to declare my constant. Then from there, I have also done the comment here, whereby we know the comments mostly explain what your program does. For example, mine is a program to calculate area of a circle. Then I've also declared my int main, my main function, which is int main. Then I've begun my program with curly bracket, normally, as you know. Then from there, I've declared my variables, which I've declared 2, 1 being radius of type integer. You know that we have data types in programming languages. In C, you use int, where you have to enter numbers. Then float, where now you will enter maybe, or the program, after the program executes, will output values that are have floating points, or they have decimal numbers. Then from there, I've also used the output function printf, because I want this program to prompt the user to enter the values through the keyboard. Now when you use printf, it means that on the screen you see the string, enter the radius. Then you, after typing the radius, you press enter. The radius will be stored in our variable radius by the use of the function scanf. Then after that, there is a process, that is area, which is equal to pi times r squared. That is pi r squared I've done. Then after, now you execute the program, you run the program with output on the screen. The area of the circle is this %f. It means that the program will output a value that is of a floating point. It has a decimal numbers. That is the area. Then after that, now we see, for example, the output of the program when I run the program. This is it. When I enter the radius, for example, I've chosen to enter 5, then I press enter, the program will now execute my area, which is 78.574997. Yeah, now we can also check on the selection stroke decision structure, 1 or many branches. So this is a control structure that will output the program depending on the conditions that you will provide. So in this, Decision-making structures require that the programmer specifies one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program, along with a statement or statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be true, and optionally, other statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be false. For example, in this we will cover two statements, which is if statement and switch statement. Now let us check on if statement. Here we can use an example. Write a program to calculate the area of a circle only when r is greater than 0. So for example, I've done also a program here. I have declared my variable r and the area, that is after executing the program where I will store my area. So in this program, it's programmed to calculate area of a circle if the radius is within my range 0, it's above 0. So if the value I enter for r is now above 0, then the area will be calculated. I have also done area equal to pi r squared. Then from there we have to put area. Otherwise, if the r that I put is below 0, then the program will have to put invalid input. So meaning if it is within, is greater than 0, we'll pick to output the area of the circle, but if it is less than 0, then it will skip that condition and pick the else statement, which is invalid output. That is a selection statement. We can also check on nested if. An if statement consists of a Boolean expression. When we talk of Boolean, we mean the value is there true or false. So expression followed by one or more statements. If the Boolean expression evaluates to true, then the block of code inside the if statements will be executed. If the Boolean expression evaluates to false, then the first set of code after the end of the if statement, that is after the closing curly bracket, will be executed. So let us take an example here whereby we are writing a program of student grading system using the table provided here below. That is, if average, we have averages and award, so we are awarding according to the averages provided. For example, if average is greater than or equal to 70, that is a distinction. Greater than or equal to 60 is a credit. Greater than or equal to 40 is pass. Less than 40 is a fail. Let us check an example. This is a program already done. Declared my variable max, int max, through keyboard input, then store my max. So if you enter the max, then it will be stored in a variable max. So the if statement, which is nested, if max is greater than or equal to 0 and max is less than or equal to 39, then the output will be fail. Else, if max is greater than 40 and max is less than or equal to 59, then the output will be pass. Else, if max is greater than or equal to 60 and max is less than or equal to 79, then the output will be credit. Else, now the output will be distinction. So here, you choose which statement to put depending on the marks that you enter. So when I run this program, the output on screen will show enter the marks. So here I have chosen to enter 50. After I type 50 and press enter, then the output will be given to be pass. That's the 50 marks. Then you can check on switch statement. This is also a selection statement. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested or tested for equality against a list of values. Each value is called a case, and the variable being switched on is checked for each switch case. So we can check an example. When a C program, create a C program to input the number and output the corresponding day in the table below, whereby when you enter 1, the program will output Monday, 2 Tuesday, 3 and 4 midweek, 5 members day and 6 and 7 weekend. Now, here's the program, still declared variable day. Through keyboard input, I type the day, then switch day. Case 1, program should output a day and give a break. And then we will give you an option to enter the second case, which also output Tuesday. Case 3 and 4 midweek. Case 5 members day. Case 6 and 7 weekend. Then if you enter another number apart from the numbers provided here, then the program output day does not exist. Then the output, when you run the program on the screen, you see enter the number of the day. So you have chosen to enter 5. After you enter 5, I press enter, then the program output. Then enter the day is members day. Now let us check on looping repetition, iteration structure. That's the repetition of a set of activities. Yes, whereby you output the statements repetitively until a certain condition is met. For example, here we are told a loop statement allows us to execute a statement or group of statements multiple times repetitively until certain conditions met. For example, we use two types of loops. One being the precondition. This whereby a condition is first tested before executing statement inside the loop. You have to test the condition before you execute any statement. It has a minimum of 0 iteration, e.g. you'll use while loop and for loop. The second one is post condition. This is whereby the statement inside the loop is first executed, then the condition is tested, meaning it executes once before the condition is tested. So it has a minimum of 1 iteration. You have to put at least once before you test the condition. So in this, we'll learn or use by using the do loop. So let us check an example here using while loop. While write a C program using the while loop to display integers and terminate or execute from the loop when an integer becomes 0 through the keyboard input. So this one, you type a number, then the program will begin from the number that you type. So for example, here I've done a program whereby I've declared my variable num, which is through keyboard I should input the number, type the number, then install. Then the condition will check where the num is greater than 0, then we'll put the num. That is num equal to num minus minus. It means that the value that you enter, if you enter 10, then the program will put from 10 downwards until the num becomes 0. So meaning my program will put from 10, 9 up to 1. If the conditional, the num becomes 0, then the program will terminate. Then we can also check do while. Unlike for and while loops, which test the loop condition at the top of the loop, the do while loop in C programming checks its condition at the bottom of the loop. A do while loop is similar to while loop, except that fact that it is guaranteed to execute at least one time. Let's take example here. Write a C program to output numbers from 10 to 20 using the do while. So it means now with this, the condition you will put at least once before you test the condition. For example, here I have declared my variable to be int a equal to 10. I have also assigned the value 10, so that my program is beginning from 10 going onwards to 20. So do output the a plus 1, so it's incrementing. If it is output 10, then it increment by 1, 11, 12 onwards until 20. So after it executes once, it will test the condition. Is that value within the range that I have provided? If it is, then it will put a number. Until now, if the value in A becomes 20, then the program will terminate. Then we can also check for statement. The for loop is a repetition control structure that allows you to specify to efficiently write a loop that needs to execute a specific number of times. This is the control structure that you need when you know the number of times that you want to execute the for loop. For example, write a C program to output pattern of 3 numbers, or 3 columns. So here I've done a program whereby I have declared my 2 variables k and I. K represented the rows and I represent the columns. So here I've assigned the value, I've initialized where my rows should begin. So it begins from the first row going onwards to 5. So I've said k equal to 1, k is less than or equal to 5, k plus plus. So I've said begin from the first row, increment until the rows becomes 5. For I, which is my column, also beginning from 1, column 1, then I've given a condition that the column should be less than or equal to k, so they are equal to the rows. So increment also the column. So here I output the column equal to column plus 1, we increment the columns of the loop repeats. Then output in quotes \n, that is line break. This line break, we call them escape sequence in the program, whereby it will break a line after one line is executed, then it will break to the next line below the other one. So it will put rows below each other. Then after that, return 0. Then the program from there will execute, run, then it will execute. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you and welcome.